collection, make it $1,500 when people only owe $80, and then when they paid it, because they skipped over, they cut out that middleman of Midwest Recovery, they refuse to cooperate with the people. So this is what they have been up to. And I'm sure they're not the only company out there. This is probably one that's been caught most recently. Most recently, they're the ones that have been caught. So that's what happens, and that's what happened with this particular company and this particular customer. So you've got to make sure that if somebody says you owe them, you're not sure, you've got to do some investigating about it. Like I said, you can use the credit bureaus to do so. This particular person called the hospital directly, which I suggest often when it comes to medical debts, that you contact the original place. If the original place, if it's the physician, if it's the doctor's office, if it's the lab, if it's the hospital, emergency care, urgent care, whatever it is, you contact them directly, especially with medical debt, because they may have the ability to take your payment directly. If they have the ability to take your payment directly, we can cut out that middleman. If you got questions about this, not sure how it works, what you should do, you have this situation going on right now, contact me. Send me an email, 800@creditscoreman.com. Send me that email. All right, so look, it's halfway between the show. It's been a while since we've done a question of the day. So we're going to do a question of the day. When we finish with the question of the day, I'm going to tell you what you need to do exactly when it comes down to some of these things. Now, I had a couple questions. Actually, I had a question that I already had in my head what I wanted to do for you guys today. However, I have had someone contact me right before the show. I mean, literally before the music was about to play, somebody sent me a text message. We went back and forth a little bit, so we are going to tackle that question instead. So it happens like this sometimes on the 800 Credit Score Man show. We adapt. We move, and I think this is a pretty good question, and we'll save the other question for next week. So I don't know where this person is from, so I like to just pick a place. So, where would I like to be right now? Where I am in the Midwest, in Chicago, and we're supposed to get 10 inches of snow. Not 10 inches. Is it 10 inches? Yeah, we're supposed to get 10 inches of snow this weekend. So, of course, I'm going to pick somewhere warm and sunny. So, we're going to say this person is from, let's make this person from Tampa. Tampa's going to be in the Super Bowl. Let's make her from Tampa. So, Cheryl from Tampa, she said she had a question. So, her question is, what happens when we let someone piggyback on our credit, then decide to take them off? Are there any repercussions for them? How long should we let them piggyback on the loan on their credit card? And she's thinking about young adolescent kids. So, Cheryl, first of all, thank you for contacting me. I appreciate it. So you can contact me too. Cheryl sent me a text message, 312-600-5855. I've never spoken to Cheryl before. Cheryl from Tampa. So, and I don't think it's Cheryl she said. But you can contact me there too. You got a question? Send me your question. You might end up on the 800 Credit Score Man show. All right, so Cheryl, that's a great question. That's a really good question. I've only had that question a couple of times. People asked me this question before a couple of times. So what happens when you take them off? Taking them off or removing them as an authorized user on their credit report has the same impact as if they close the credit card and they close their, longest, oldest card that was helping them out the most. So yes, it's going to negatively impact their credit score. And how long should you leave them on there? Now, you can leave them on there as long as you want to leave them on there. There's really no need to take them off unless you're going to have some issues with that particular credit card. So if you close that card, cool, it's closed. They'll come off. You'll be done with it as well. But if you're going to have some issues, you're not going to make a payment or whatever it is, they lowered your limit. So now your credit utilization is out of whack a little bit or what have you. Then yes, that's negatively impacting all of you, and any authorized users on it as well. So you can leave them on there as long as you want. Now, if it's to help them increase and get a good credit score, once they've hit that threshold and they've had some time to build that credit themselves, then you can go ahead and you can take it off. Is it going to negatively impact them? Yes, it is, but it won't hurt as much. So if that person's gotten to, let's say they've gotten to a 720, they've gotten to a 750, a 780, and they're on as an authorized user, then you can pull them off. Will it drop it? It shouldn't drop at 100 points. They should still be above 700 when it comes to it. And you can even do it not only because of those things, once they get something that they were really trying to get and the credit helped them. So if they were looking to buy a vehicle, then after they get their vehicle, then a couple of months later, and you decide, hey, we're gonna pull you off of this particular card, then do something like that. If you want to do it like that, that would be a way that you can do it, and you still help them. You help them for some time, so they can stay on it as long as they can stay on it indefinitely. But if you want to go ahead and take them off for whatever reason, you want to go ahead and take them off, then knock yourself out and you take them off. But it will negatively impact their credit score. So if they haven't reached that 720, that 750 threshold, and they're sitting at a 650, and you snatch it off of it, then they might go down to 600. They might go down to 580. So I'm just cautioning you on that. It doesn't impact you at all as the person that has the card originally. It doesn't impact you at all with having them as an authorized user. But perhaps you have a card that says you can only add 2 authorized users. Maybe you got another kid or another family member, whoever, that you want to do that and you want to take one off, then that's just how it is. But if you can add and you can keep them on there, I just say keep them on there as long as possible. But it will impact them as if they closed a credit card, a long-standing credit card, which of course is something that we advise against, and you don't want to do that. So those are the repercussions for them. Their score will absolutely go down for sure. And how long you should keep them on there? Just as long as possible. You should keep it on there as long as possible if you can. So, Cheryl, thank you so very much. I hope this answers your question. Thank you so very much for asking the question, for sending me that text message. And you said your husband liked the beat. At the end of the show, I'm going to let the beat run for whatever it is. I think it's it's like a 4-minute song. 4-minute beat. I'm going to let it run so y'all can kick it at the end of the show and listen to the whole beat of the 800 Credit Score Man Show. So, Cheryl, you are officially a part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family, and thank you so very, very much. If you got questions out there, you guys, do like Cheryl. Send me a text message, 312-600-5855, or you can even email me, 800@creditscoreman.com, or you can contact me in the DMs or wherever. You can catch me on IG, on Facebook. You can hit me up in any and all those places as well. So let's jump back into this egregious thing that's going on with debt parking. And don't get me wrong, they're not the only people that's doing it at all. They're not the only ones. These are the people that just got caught most recently, that's all. But it's been going on for quite some time. So we're going to do this. What should you do? What in the world should you do if you find yourself in this particular situation? There are several things that you should do, and there's really nothing you can do to protect yourself from this. If you put a freeze on your credit, and none of that stuff will protect you from getting debt parked on your credit report. So, like, freezing your credit is for people looking at your credit or trying to place new accounts on your credit report, far as applying for things and getting a new credit card or getting a car in your name, things of that nature. But if you've got issues and debt that's going to go on your credit report because of a collection, a freeze does not stop that. So there's not much you can do about this except for know what you're doing and being able, and know when things change on your credit report. So the first thing you can do is file a dispute through the credit bureaus. File that dispute through the credit bureaus and let them come back and tell you if it's a valid debt or not. That doesn't mean that you're going to take this as gospel necessarily, but file that dispute with the credit bureaus. Secondly, another thing you can do is contact the collection agency. Contact them. Admit to nothing. Did you hear me? admit to nothing. Don't say, yep, it's my debt. Don't say, oh man, I think I might remember them. None of that stuff. None of that stuff. Do not admit to anything. Don't say that it's your debt. You want to call. You want to check on it. You want to see what this is all about. So admit to nothing, and you're going to ask for proof. You're going to ask for proof of the debt itself. Now, you can do this in writing, or you can do it via phone. If you do it in writing, then at least you leave that paper trail if you ever need it in the future. So contact that collection agency. You don't have to be afraid to contact them. Just don't admit to nothing, all right? And you get that information out of them. Don't let them pressure you into paying. None of that stuff. None of that stuff at all. Get the information that you need. If you don't feel you can do this via phone talking to them, then send that letter. Doesn't have to be long. You don't need a form letter and all that stuff. Write it in your own handwriting if you have to. Doesn't matter. But you contact them on that. Another thing you can do, file a complaint with the CFPB. The CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You need to file a complaint with them. That's how the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, even started investigating this particular company. So you may think, oh man, it's just one issue, one complaint. It's not gonna make a big deal or any kind of splash. But people filed complaints about this particular company, and that's how the FTC decided to look into them. And so it absolutely does make a difference. So those complaints, they add up, and you can not only help yourself, but you may be able to help other people as well from falling victim from these particular practices. So contact the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau if you've got a complaint about any of these debt collection places at all. You make sure you file a complaint. Doesn't take a whole bunch. You can do it online. You just go check them out and file your complaint with them as well. They will investigate as well. So if you had the credit bureau investigating it and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau doing it as well, then you're covering all your bases. Another thing you can do, contact the original debtor. Do just like the man or the woman in the example that they claim owed $1,500. Contact the original debtor. Do that. The company that claims that the collection agency claims that you actually owe. Contact them and see if that's the case. Check how much it is. All those kinds of things. That's what you can do to help protect yourself as well. Then, one of the last things that you should do, and above all, and maybe this should have been number one, above all, check your credit report and check it regularly. See, this person went in because they were trying to get a mortgage, and then they discovered, oh, man, I have a collection on my credit report, right? So you need to check it and check it regularly. And I got to say this, if you're going to do, people don't usually wake up tomorrow and say, yeah, let's apply for a mortgage. Let's do that. It's usually a thought process to it. They're thinking about it. Should we move? Should we refinance? Whatever the case is. When you start thinking about those things, then you need to check your credit, especially if you haven't done it in quite some time. Now, you should probably check your credit even if you're going to apply for a credit card or PayPal's, credit that they're giving you, Fingerhut or whoever it is. You should probably check it because of that too before you apply. However, if you're going to be buying something that's significant in price, a vehicle or a home, then you should absolutely be checking your credit and checking that credit often. It does not hurt your credit score for you to check your own credit, and you can check it at a lot of places at this point. So because of COVID, they said we have till April of this year to check our credit from Experian, from Equifax, from TransUnion every week if you want, until April of this year. It's about to be February. So you want to get in and you want to check your credit report. And of course, you can use these other places as well, the Credit Karmas, the Credit Sesames, the Identity IQ. You can check your credit report and it does not hurt your credit score. It only hurts your credit score if someone else checks your credit report. If you're applying for credit, and someone else checks your credit report, that's when it hurts your score. You can check it yourself. So you need